A very good morning and welcome back to another Daily Market Outlook where I discuss all your favorite trading pairs and of course gold. My name is Fabio and thank you for tuning in. We're going to be discussing EURUSD first, but in the meantime don't forget that this afternoon there is going to be a live session here on YouTube where we discuss everything and we're going to be looking for live trades as well. Now, let's dive in because EURUSD saw a bearish candle close yesterday with a strong push in towards the downside, in towards that overall 0.5 fib here on the daily fractal structure. Now, what is the daily fractal structure? Your daily fractal structure is from this low in towards this high. This is the immediate daily fractal structure or the immediate market structure on the daily time frame that I'm looking to see be respected. Now, at the beginning of the week, I was looking for a long position from that 0.5 fib. You can't see it here, but on the lower time frame, it actually just didn't get hit, and then a further impulse in towards the highs. Now, the 0.5 fib is more often than not just a zone. It doesn't need, or it's not necessary that price taps into that exact level, but then we can very clearly see here also if we extend the level to the left that we had support, we had resistance, we had support, we had resistance, and now again we're looking for support to be formed here to then continue up higher. Furthermore, we're inside a daily imbalance candle over here which broke market structure over here as well. So looking for that further upside from that daily area of demand and looking to see EURUSD push up higher. Once this low over here goes, then I'll be more interested in shorts once again. But as long as that fractal low over here holds, I am interested in looking for a next swing up. Okay, so that's what I have for EURUSD here on the daily time frame. Going in towards the 4 hour, we can see that we're building up a lot of liquidity, and as well that on the 4 hour inside of that daily area of demand, we also have an area of 4 hour demand in these wicks over here in this area of consolidation. So what I'm now looking to see is that the market will see a potential reversal from that area of consolidation and start pushing up higher. So we know, okay, we're inside daily demand, we're inside 4 hour demand, and we hit that 0.5 fib level pretty much. I'm then looking, okay, can we go into the lower time frame and start identifying our potential long position? Now, as you can see throughout the week, we've been pushing down lower, which is perfectly fine because we've just been following this internal downtrend over here. Now, I was happy to take shorts from pretty much all of these levels over here until we took out these two equal lows, because at that point in time, I'm then potentially interested in looking for the next push up. However, once again, you can just see, okay, the overall trend is further in towards the downside, so don't try to long it. Try and wait for that ultimate market structure shift, which should happen once we break this market structure level over here, which is your fractal high. So once this fractal high goes, I'm looking for a strong impulse up. I'll be looking for a retest of this overall order block over here, and then I'll be looking to take out all of the descending highs in the form of this trendline liquidity that we have. As you can see over here, we have descending highs over here, we have equal highs over here, we have equal highs over here. So a lot of equal highs are being formed at the moment, and I'm therefore looking for that next push up. Keep in mind, we could just see a quick spike and then, for example, another drop down. So really look for some sustained momentum and then look for that clean area of demand for your next long position. What you could do is just look for that 50-minute change of character inside of that 1 hour area of demand then for better and higher probability longs. But overall, that's what I'm looking for. The highest probability trade will come once we break this high over here. This is your 4 hour fractal high. So if you want the highest probability trade, wait for that high to go. If you want to be a little bit more aggressive, then just wait for the 1 hour fractal high to go, which is this high over here. Okay, so there are two potential long setups that I'm eyeing up. Both of them can play out. Higher probability one is when the 4 hour fractal high breaks. That will confirm that this is not just internal liquidity to fuel the next move down. And otherwise, wait for that 4 hour fractal high to break, because then in my opinion, we're definitely going to be pushing up higher next. So that's what I have for EURUSD, and there is a reason why I'm looking for those longs, because the dollar index, in my opinion, is looking good for some further downside. So why is the dollar index looking good for some further downside? Now, you know that I like my charts nice and clean. Here we have the daily fractal high, so the market structure high. Here we have the market structure low. Now, ultimately, what you would expect from the dollar is that it would retrace at least in towards premium pricing, which is the 0.5 fib. Now, again, this is not necessary, because if on the lower time frame we already see a market structure shift, then the dollar should already be ready to push down lower. So then if I go here in towards the 4 hour time frame, what I identify is if I turn on the 50% body candle, that we have an imbalance candle over here. So this imbalance candle is currently pushing the market down lower, and that we use these highs over here as liquidity, which are positioned where? Well, right below this area of 4 hour supply. So what I'm now pretty much looking for is for this lower time frame trend, which actually has happened this morning, because as we can see, we had this little uptrend over here on the dollar. That is now broken in towards the downside. So here we have the break of structure, and what I'm now pretty much just looking for is that further downside continuation to start taking out what? To start taking out all of these ascending lows over here, which is again trend line liquidity. So a lot of liquidity underneath that trend line, looking for that next push down. Obviously we could again see a retracement this morning, and then I'll just be waiting for the next low break, which again will be my confirmation, because if we see a double break of structure, and what I mean with a double break of structure is just break number one, and then we see a retracement, and then again here this would be break number two. That for me would be confirmation to confirm that this is not just again a tap into this demand zone, liquidity grab to then fuel the next move up again, which is also still possible. So definitely looking for that double fractal break, and that for me would then be a lot more confirmation. Because again, if we look here on the daily, we still have this daily imbalance, which has not been tapped into. And we also have not yet tapped into that 0.5 fib retracement level. But yeah, just following the overall daily fractal structure down, and the 4 hour for now is looking good for that for the downside. But do keep in mind that there is still potential to push up higher, but I do like what I see for now. The highest probability trade will definitely come once we break this area of demand over here. So looking for this low over here to go, and then I think it's going to be free game. Otherwise, wait for that double 1 hour fractal break, yeah, that I just taught. Going into Aussie dollar next. So Aussie dollar saw a spike in towards the upside. Why was that? Well, if we look here at the news, and my screen is not switching, but there was news last night on the trade deal between China and the United States. So Trump again mentioned that he is establishing a trade deal with China, and this has caused Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar to push up higher last night. So overall, Aussie dollar here is consolidating. It's moving in a range, not very interesting in my opinion. Itself, here we have some equal highs. Here yesterday we saw a liquidity grab of the low, and then a tap into into this area of demand, or did we just miss out on it? Let me quickly see. This is the, let me see real quick. Yeah, so we just missed out on it, to be very honest. Would have been nicer if we would have tapped in towards that demand and then grabbed the liquidity underneath here. But ultimately, for me, this is already fine. I'll be looking for the next leg up here on Aussie dollar. Obviously, I will keep in mind that there is still potential for it to push further down, but as long as this demand zone holds, I would expect the market to continue now pushing up higher after grabbing those internal lows here. So yeah, liquidity grabbed, 4 hour fractal structure shift, and now looking for that next push up. Going into the daily for you here, we're still inside of this daily area of supply, but it hasn't really yet pushed the market down lower, so I don't really expect there to be a lot of supply in it. Once this supply zone breaks and we see kind of like that breakout, then we would form a new area of demand over here, from where again we can look for those aggressive buys. Now the highest probability play will always come if we see a deeper retracement. This here is my daily fractal low, so this dot on the line, or the dot on the wick over here, and this here is the daily fractal high. So ultimately you always want to be looking for longs from the 0.5 fib, and then again also from that daily area of demand. But what do we do if the momentum is high? Then obviously you need to change your plan, and then we understand, okay, look at the 4 hour time frame, and if the 4 hour, for example, then already grabs liquidity and it creates a demand zone, you could already look for a long inside of that demand zone. But because you're high in the leg, then look at the lower time frame and then wait, for example, for the 15 minutes to come in towards there, give us the fractal structure shift, form a new area of demand, and then, for example, go long. Okay, so that's what I'm kind of looking for on Aussie dollar. It doesn't need to pull back, not really, it doesn't need to. It could also just start pushing up higher, but these are kind of like the setups I'm looking for. If we break this low over here, then I'll be looking for trades inside that daily demand zone once again. Going into GBPUSD, GBPUSD broke the liquidity, or grabbed the liquidity yesterday. Very, very beautiful. Obviously, we had a lot of equal lows here underneath this area of consolidation. So you can very clearly see the market was consolidating. I drew out this line and I shared it as well in Discord. Make sure to join if you're not in there yet. But here we can see a liquidity grab of the lows. Now what I'm looking for is for us to break this high and then just continue up higher once again. So that could happen. That's what I'm looking for on the 1 hour time frame. I do keep in mind, by the way, that we have a buy before a sell pretty much over here, which we're currently inside of. So GU is kind of like my least favorite at the moment, because this supply zone could still push the market down lower into where? Into the daily area of demand, which we have positioned over here, okay? So please do keep that in mind, that there is still a higher risk of GU dumping in towards that 0.5 fib, this imbalance candle over here, and then I'll be happy to look for longs, because then ultimately the position that I'll be taking is just very simply said this position over here, back up in towards that weekly bump in the road over here, which is weekly liquidity. But yeah, what we need overall from GU is to see, okay, what does it actually want to do? Because again, for now, it could just push down lower from, for example, this supply zone over here in towards downside. So let's say this morning we do start seeing some downside momentum, then maybe I'll be looking for some shorts on GU. But if it just continues kind of like to break the highs and it breaks this high over here, then I'll be looking for some more upside. But I need to see some kind of like indication of where it wants to be heading next. But yeah, again, preferably you would want to look for longs inside here, not really at the top over here. But again, if the momentum is there and the dollar index starts pushing down, then there could already be longs. But if the market structure breaks, then we'll be interested in those potential shorts, okay? So this is kind of like the two setups I'm looking at for at the moment. Look for a sustained push above this high, by the way, not just a liquidity grab and then the move down, okay? So that's it for GU. Going into NZDUSD. So NZDUSD itself, I'm currently in a long position on this with my entry over here, pretty much exactly as I shared yesterday on the market outlook as well. What I'm looking for NZDUSD overall is a higher push up again on the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, we can very clearly see that we have the swing high here, the swing low over here, and that we at least want to see a push back up in towards weekly supply, or eventually in towards a 0.5 fib on the weekly time frame as well. So looking for that next leg up. I was happy with taking this long position. Why? Well, because one, the daily time frame closed bullish. Or broke fractal structure over here with a double fractal break. So after grabbing liquidity over here, here we see fractal break number one, fractal break number two. This is a sub for the buy up, breaking the market structure over here. Then this sub for the buy up becomes your area of demand. We tap in towards that demand zone over here. We pretty much saw a retracement exactly into 0.5 fib. And now I'm just looking for that next upside continuation, kind of as I've been doing on EU. Now for NU, we just need overall the dollar to start dumping, which should push NU up higher. Obviously, the trade deal as well with China is good news for NZD and for AUD, and that could push NZDUSD up higher. Looking at the 4-hour time frame here, what I did yesterday was that I saw a tap into this 0.5 fib. I saw the overall impulse up, the correction down. Then we had a fractal structure shift over here. So low break over here, high break over here on the highs, right? So all you're actually doing here is just trading with the trend. We saw a strong push up from that 0.5 fib, which is this low over here. And then we saw a push in towards this high. We saw a retracement back down into demand. And then I decided to go long on this. So that's a long position that I'm currently in. Let's see how it plays out. I took a nice and wide stop loss, understanding that EURUSD still had potential to dump down lower and that the dollar index can still also manipulate. But yeah, now what I like about NU is that we formed pretty much a new area of demand over here, which is also on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour is that also a demand zone. We can again see here that we had a liquidity sweep over here last night. So again, boom, boom. So fake kind of like sell and then a strong buy up on top of it. So demand coming into the market. I'm now just looking either for this or just for this to happen on NU. And then last of all, we have gold. Gold itself, I've kind of like completed all my trades on that thing. Not really looking for any new positions for now. Yesterday, again, a lot of liquidity being grabbed. These are what I mean with these internal liquidity lows being grabbed and then everybody thinking, aha, now I can sell from this area of supply. Guys, do not look to sell gold just yet. Obviously, it can dump at any moment in time, but it's very much like crypto at the moment. It's just pumping, guys. It's just pumping. So there is no reason to be selling gold at the moment unless you have some insider fundamental news or knowledge. For now, this here is your 4-hour demand zone. So only look for longs inside of demand. That is personally what I'll be doing. And then keep in mind that pretty much when you see kind of like these market structure shifts or breaks, that more often than not will just be a liquidity grab, faking sellers into the market. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you all on the New York live session later today and see you later.